You could see your breath inside your bedroom. The ice on the window was on the inside. And somehow that Christmas morning felt more magical than anything we have today. In 1970s Britain, Christmas wasn't warm. It wasn't comfortable. But it was real. And what families did to survive those freezing December mornings will hit you harder than you expect. This isn't nostalgia. This is the truth about when Christmas actually meant something. Picture this: Christmas morning 1975. You wake up in a bedroom so cold you can see ice crystals on the wallpaper. Not outside, inside. Your nose is freezing, your feet are numb, and the only thought in your head is getting downstairs to the one room that matters. The living room, where the coal fire has been burning since your dad got up at 5 a.m. Because here's what nobody tells you about 1970s Britain. Central heating was a luxury most families simply didn't have. You had one fire, one warm room, and that room became the center of everything. Christmas morning wasn't about unwrapping presents in your pajamas wherever you wanted. It was a mad dash from your frozen bedroom down the stairs, fighting with your siblings to get closest to that fire. And the smell, that thick, heavy smell of coal smoke mixed with the damp cold of the rest of the house, it sounds grim, but ask anyone who lived it and they'll tell you that smell meant home. It meant Christmas. It meant survival. Your parents had been up for hours, not because they wanted to be, because they had to be. The fire needed stoking, the house needed warming, just enough so the living room wouldn't feel like a punishment. And they did this quietly, in the dark, while you slept under every blanket you owned. That's the Christmas morning you don't see in the films. The decorations weren't bought from some fancy shop with a theme. They were the same ones from last year, and the year before that. Paper chains you made at school that were falling apart, wonky tinsel that had lost half its shine, baubles with chips in them, and those fairy lights. Oh, those fairy lights. Every single year, the same battle. Your dad would pull them out of the box and they'd be tangled into a knot that looked like it defied physics. Half of them wouldn't work because one bulb had gone, just one, and nobody could figure out which one. So you'd spend an hour, maybe two, testing each bulb individually while your mom told everyone to just throw them away and get new ones. But you didn't, because that's not what you did. You fixed them. You made do. And when they finally lit up, uneven and flickering, it felt like a victory. The tree itself wasn't perfect either. It was real, yes, but it was often wonky, a bit sparse on one side, dropping needles everywhere. And it sat in the same corner it sat in every year, surrounded by the same worn-out decorations that had been in the family for decades. But you know what? Nobody cared, because it was your tree, your family's mess. And fixing those lights together while arguing about who broke them was part of the tradition. That tree represented something: resilience, making something beautiful out of what you had. Here's something that'll blow your mind. There were only 3 TV channels. 3. BBC One, BBC Two, ITV. That's it. No streaming, no choice, no scrolling for an hour trying to decide what to watch. And on Christmas Day, the entire country watched the same thing, and they planned their whole day around it. The Radio Times Christmas double issue was treated like a sacred text. It came out weeks early, thick as a magazine, filled with the listings for both Christmas and New Year. Families would sit together and circle what they wanted to watch. Dinner was timed around the Queen's speech at 3 p.m., not because everyone was royalist, but because that's just what you did. The whole country stopped, sat down, and watched. Over 20 million people watching the same thing at the same time. Then came the evening. Morecambe and Wise, the 2 Ronnies, the Christmas special everyone had been waiting for. And over 20 million people, more than a third of the country, were watching the exact same jokes at the exact same time, laughing together, even though they were in different homes. Think about that. When was the last time anything brought the whole country together like that? There was something powerful about that shared experience. You'd go back to school in January, and everyone had seen the same things. Everyone was talking about the same sketches, the same moments. There was no, "Oh, I haven't watched that yet, don't spoil it." Everyone was on the same page. And it created this strange sense of unity, like the whole nation was one big family, sitting in different living rooms, but somehow together. Wait, here's the thing though. You couldn't pause it, you couldn't rewind it. If you missed it, you missed it, forever. There were no reruns for months. So when something special happened on TV, it actually felt special, because it was fleeting. It was a moment in time, and you either caught it or you didn't. That scarcity made it valuable, made it memorable. Let's talk about the food, because Christmas dinner in the 1970s wasn't about showing off, it was about tradition. Turkey, yes, but often a smaller one than you'd see today. Roast potatoes, Brussels sprouts that have been grown in British soil, pulled fresh, sometimes from your own garden if you had one. Bread sauce, thin gravy, and Christmas pudding that had been made weeks ago, wrapped in cloth, stored away, waiting for this exact moment. No fancy starters, no Instagram-worthy cheese boards, no exotic ingredients flown in from abroad, just simple, hot, filling food that made the cold house feel a little less brutal. And everyone ate together, at the table. No phones, no distractions, no TV in the background during dinner, just forks scraping plates and someone arguing about whether the sprouts were overcooked or if there was too much salt in the gravy. The kitchen was chaos, steam everywhere, pots boiling over, your mum orchestrating everything like a general, trying to time it so everything finished at once, which it never did. Something was always late or early or burnt or undercooked, but it didn't matter because the effort was the point, the hours of preparation, the fact that this meal was made from scratch with cheap ingredients stretched as far as they could go to create something that felt abundant. And after dinner, when everyone was full and sleepy, the Christmas pudding came out, set alight with brandy, the lights turned off so you could see the blue flames dancing, and everyone oohed and ahed like it was fireworks. Inside, there were silver coins, sixpences hidden in the pudding, and if you found one, you kept it, for luck. Kids would eat carefully, slowly, hoping to find that coin because it made you special for the day. That pudding, that moment, was magic. Not expensive magic, just simple, homemade, effort-filled magic.
The present. Oh, the present. You got a few, maybe 3 or 4 if you were lucky. Not piles, not heaps, a few. And you treasured every single one. An action man, a doll, a spirograph, a board game, maybe some chocolate coins. A satsuma in your stocking, which sounds ridiculous now, but back then, that little burst of citrus in the middle of winter felt like treasure. Because fruit wasn't available all year round. A satsuma in December was exotic. It was special. It meant someone had thought about you. And that small orange fruit represented something bigger. Abundance in scarcity. And because you only got a few things, you actually played with them. You weren't overwhelmed. You weren't bored by lunchtime. You spent hours, days, weeks with what you had. And those toys lasted, sometimes years. You didn't expect more because more wasn't normal. You got what you got and you made it count. But here's what people forget. The anticipation was half the gift. You'd been writing your letter to Santa for weeks, thinking about what you wanted, hoping you'd been good enough, watching your parents for clues, shaking the boxes under the tree when no one was looking. And on Christmas morning, when you finally opened those few presents, the relief and joy was overwhelming. Because you'd waited, you'd hoped, and now it was real. That anticipation, that buildup, made the payoff so much sweeter. Today, kids can have almost anything, anytime. The anticipation is gone, the scarcity is gone, and with it, some of the magic. But here's where it gets emotional, and this is the part people forget. Community actually mattered. If it snowed, and it often did, neighbors checked on each other, especially the elderly. You'd see kids sent by their parents with a plate of mince pies or some extra potatoes for the old man down the road who lived alone. Not because it was organized, not because someone posted about it online, because it was just expected. The milkman still delivered on Christmas morning.
bottles clinking on doorsteps at dawn. The local shop, the corner shop, often open for a few hours, just in case someone forgot something, because people knew each other. Shopkeepers knew their customers by name. It wasn't transactional, it was human. And people walked everywhere to visit family, to see friends. Streets were full of families wrapped in coats and scarves, trudging through frost, waving at neighbors, stopping to chat. Kids comparing what they got for Christmas, adults complaining about the cold but smiling anyway. There was a rhythm to it, a shared experience. Everyone was going through the same thing, the same cold, the same modest Christmas, the same 3 TV channels. And somehow, that made it feel less hard, because you weren't alone in it. You'd knock on someone's door and they'd invite you in for a mince pie or a glass of sherry. You'd sit by their fire for 10 minutes, talk about nothing important, then head off to the next house. It wasn't planned, it just happened, because that's what people did. And if someone was struggling, really struggling, the community stepped in, quietly, without fuss. A bag of coal left on a doorstep, some extra food, a kind word. It wasn't charity, it was just looking out for your own. That sense of collective responsibility has almost entirely disappeared now. We're more connected than ever through technology, but more isolated than ever in reality. Back then, you knew your neighbors, you relied on them, and they relied on you. And that web of mutual care made the harshness of life bearable. Now, let's be honest, life was harder. Houses were colder, money was tighter, the power cuts, the 3-day weeks, the strikes, all of that was real. This isn't about pretending the 1970s were perfect, they weren't. But Christmas somehow cut through all of that. It wasn't about having more, it was about making the most of what you had, about anticipation, about waiting for something and actually feeling excited when it arrived. The build-up to Christmas lasted weeks. Advent calendars with tiny pictures, not chocolate, counting down, writing letters to Santa with frozen fingers, watching your mom hide presents badly and pretending you didn't see. And when Christmas finally came, it felt earned. You want to know why people cry when they remember 1970s Christmases? It's not the stuff. It's not the presents or the TV shows or the food. It's the feeling. The feeling of being part of something bigger than yourself, of knowing that across the whole country, people were doing the same things, feeling the same cold, watching the same TV, laughing at the same jokes. It's the memory of a time when less was somehow more, when you didn't need endless options to feel satisfied, when the simplicity forced you to focus on the people around you, because there was nothing else to do. And maybe that's the part that really gets people. The realization that all the comfort we have now, all the choice, all the technology, hasn't made Christmas feel better. If anything, it's made it feel more isolated, more overwhelming, more exhausting. Back then, you had no choice but to be present. Literally, you were in one room with your family around one fire, watching one TV, eating one meal, and somehow that made it count. The warmth didn't come from the heating. It came from the people. The magic didn't come from abundance. It came from scarcity, from making something special out of very little, from shared struggle and shared joy. And that's what's been lost. Not the cold houses or the limited TV channels or the modest presents, but the togetherness that came from all of those limitations. Now let's be honest. Life was harder. Houses were colder. Money was tighter. The power cuts, the 3-day weeks, the strikes, all of that was real. This isn't about pretending the 1970s were perfect. They weren't. But Christmas somehow cut through all of that. It wasn't about having more. It was about making the most of what you had. About anticipation, about waiting for something and actually feeling excited when it arrived. The build-up to Christmas lasted weeks. Advent calendars with tiny pictures, not chocolate, counting down, writing letters to Santa with frozen fingers, watching your mom hide presents badly and pretending you didn't see. And when Christmas finally came, it felt earned. You want to know why people cry when they remember 1970s Christmas? It's not the stuff, it's not the presents or the TV shows or the food, it's the feeling. The feeling of being part of something bigger than yourself, of knowing that across the whole country, people were doing the same things, feeling the same cold, watching the same TV, laughing at the same jokes. It's the memory of a time when less was somehow more, when you didn't need endless options to feel satisfied, when the simplicity forced you to focus on the people around you because there was nothing else to do. And maybe that's the part that really gets people. The realization that all the comfort we have now, all the choice, all the technology, hasn't made Christmas feel better. If anything, it's made it feel more isolated, more overwhelming, more exhausting. Back then, you had no choice but to be present. Literally, you were in one room with your family, around one fire, watching one TV, eating one meal. And somehow that made it count. The warmth didn't come from the heating, it came from the people. The magic didn't come from abundance, it came from scarcity, from making something special out of very little, from shared struggle and shared joy. And that's what's been lost. Not the cold houses or the limited TV channels or the modest presents, but the togetherness that came from all of those limitations.